I'm Chris Hull and this is Stella, and we are on the hunt for rare and unusual plants found out in the wild in the UK. Today we're down at the Pebbled Heaths in East Devon and we're looking for some really unusual plants, aren't we, Stella? We are looking for carnivorous plants, so plants that actually catch, kill and digest invertebrates and insects, and people don't really realise you can actually find them here in the UK in the wild. And I believe that somewhere out there we have some native ones and some non-natives that have naturalised. But the first job for me is I've actually got to get out there and find them. Have we got a job on our hands? Yeah, I think we do. Oh, good girl. Look, water. Have a quick cup of tea and then we're going to go hunting carnivorous plants. You want some, do you? Thank you very much for the kisses. There's something so nice about just coming out into the middle of a massive heathland like this, thousands of acres of land, and you can just be completely lost even though we're only 15-20 minutes from Exeter. And I just love it because you've got all the heathers, you've got the gorse all in flower. Now is just such a nice time to come out and see it. Do you agree? Stella loves the bogs. When we get to the bogs, she is going to be a really happy dog, aren't you? She's going to be covered in crap. Thank you. And actually this area, the Pebbled Heaths, is a really rare type of habitat. This is a lowland heathland habitat. And it's actually rarer than rainforest, which is a classic fact about these heathlands, but some of you might not know it. And they primarily are kind of UK habitat and some of Northern Europe, but mostly over here. And it's because this obviously used to be woodlands once upon a time, much like Dartmoor in the same way. But then as a commons, it had been used by the people, been grazed. And then this is the sort of habitat that forms, because not much tree canopy can grow because it's being grazed. But you get this amazing, unique habitat. It's this matrix of sort of moorland grasses, sedges, and in the more wetter areas you get the rushes and all of those more boggy plants. But it supports a really, really wide range of habitat. You get nightjars down here, you get lizards because they love all this sort of dusty stuff, and it's really, really good for ground nesting birds as well. Now, one of the challenges of finding tiny plants in a massive landscape is knowing where to find them. But even if you don't know plants that well, you can use things as a clue. So I know from doing a bit of research that they like moist, boggy soils. So you have to think, well, where are the moist, boggy soils? They're going to be down in that valley there. So we're just walking along here trying to find a good look in. And another few key indicators for that I always look out for are rushes, anything that just looks like you know that's a real wet patch. And I can see a few key indicators down there which I'll show you in a minute. So right now I'm just trying to find a good way in, but there doesn't seem to be many of those, so let's see how it goes. I've already found the first plant I was looking for, and that is Drer rotundifolia, and that's the sundew plant. Now have a look at this. It is a really tiny plant, but you can see why they call it the sundew plant, because it has those tiny little leaves with almost like water droplets, like dew, sitting on them. But what actually happens is when a little critter comes along, it gets stuck on those dewy little tendrils, or whatever you want to call them, and then the plant sort of closes over it because it gets stuck to it, and it digests it with its enzymes, and then those enzymes break it down and it feeds the plant. But you can see how hard they are to find because they're so small and in such dense habitat. You really got to look out for them, but there's quite a lot around here. Another thing is they do actually have a little yellow flower, so this time of year you can still identify them with a few of those, but really you just need to get right down in there and have a look. Now what's quite exciting is I think I found another species of sundew. So Drer rotundifolia is the classic one that you see loads of. It's got the round leaves, but I've actually found another one that's just starting to go over, and it's got the more oblong, longer leaves. So that could be Drer anglica or Drer longifolia, but I'm not sure exactly which one it would be. So I need to do a bit of research on that, check it out. Hard to tell, they're so tiny and they're going over. Now what I love about this section is all this white beak sedge, plant with the tiny white flowers, makes this really vibrant river of green through here. It's so nice, and it's just another way that you can tell where the wet section is if you're having a romp around. And another key indicator here is the cotton grass, which you can see. See it just there. You can really identify those little white clusters dotted through all of this. Right, I need to keep hunting for my second plant. Keep your eyes peeled, Stella. Trying to find my next plant, and it's proving pretty difficult. Ooh, I just saw a green woodpecker. I wish I could show you, but it's too fast for me. That's why I love coming down here so much, because you just never know what you're going to see. Just literally darted past my camera. Whew, great, but I need to find these plants, and you can see it's a bit thicker over here. It's kind of hard to see through everything, but this is where a lot of the water runs down, so I really think I'm going to find something down here. Now, I'm at a point where I've just stopped because right over my shoulder, far up into all that grass, I think I've spotted from a distance the plant that I'm after. So fingers crossed, I'm going to romp over there and we'll see if it's right, and I can show you what it really is. Pretty cool because it is really hard to spot things in this sort of dense matrix of grasses. Dog running around like a lunatic. She is on this sort of long lead, which I let her drag around, so she's not causing too much havoc, but I can see it. I can see what I'm after, and it is there. Go on, Stella, go find it. I am so excited. I've never seen this in the wild in the UK. I've only ever seen it in garden centres, and people often buy them and put them in their kitchen window or something. But have a look at this. I am really in the bog now. This plant is Saras senia Flav, I believe, which is the a non-native pitcher plant. We don't have any native pitcher plants, but this has ended up here in this lowland heathland, and it's naturalised quite well, and it hasn't taken over, which is always a good thing. Now, it's a truly amazing plant because it is carnivorous. It loves to eat insects, and how it does it is it has these pitchers with the little hat on the top that stops too much rain going in the pitcher. And then inside that pitcher is full of nectars and also a toxin. So it lures the insects in, and as they go down these tubes, there's little hairs that stop them from coming out. And once they get into that nectar with the toxin, they actually start to die, and then they get trapped, and then the plant will digest them with its enzymes, and it'll feed the plant. But this is a really, really good clump. And what's even more amazing is that it actually has flowers on it as well, which I can't believe. So it's so cool to be able to see that. I'm literally like a kid in a sweet shop. I don't know what to do with myself. But it's just totally unique. People wouldn't think that you'd find one of these out here in the wild in the UK. And admittedly, you do have to get a bit muddy. You have to come out in the swamp, but very, very cool. Just bloody love it. What I absolutely love about this plant as well is the colourings on it. I mean, look at the veins on these tubes. They're so awesome with the reds. And then as the season goes on, they start to turn this darker colour as well, especially once they've ingested lots and lots of bugs. And look at the stems on these flowers. They almost don't look real, they look a bit fake. Look at that. That is so awesome. I just love coming out and doing things like this. Hopefully it's something that is nice to watch and you like it, because I'd like to do more of it. There's a few other weird and interesting plants all around the country that I'd like to go and have a look at, or maybe even outside the country, who knows. But things like this are just so exciting. Oh look, just noticed. You can even see all the little hairs inside the lid here. See if I can get a close-up of it. Well, that was a pretty successful day. I didn't quite know whether I'd find the Saras senia, the pitcher plant, but I'm really, really glad that I did. Worth romping around in the bog for. And just great, you get to come out to this beautiful landscape full of lovely plants. Me and Stella have a good time. And I'm about to go and have a cup of tea.